These are the 27 best skin combos to main in Season 3. I mean, we may as well start off with one of the newer skins, which is Agent Blank, and we are pairing this with the Harley Hitter. I feel like this has been a really underrated skin. I mean, it was just added a few days ago, but it still does look really clean, and I feel like this will really only get better in the future. The Harley Hitter just makes sense for this as well. It is a really clean pickaxe. It fits in with the design of this skin so perfectly, and of course, even if you don't like this skin, you can use this pickaxe with pretty much any other skin that you do actually own. Next up though guys, we have to talk about the Clone Troopers and of course Leon's combat knife. I mean, we are in a Star Wars season, so this just makes sense, but we're talking about all of the Clone Troopers in this video. This is going to be any single Clone Trooper skin that you do actually own. As you guys know, there are just so many different ones in the game now. Some people probably own all of them like me, but there are also going to be a lot of people that just buy their favorite ones. So whichever one you guys own, all of them are going to look good with Leon's combat knife. This is good because it fits in with the most simplistic pickaxe in the game, and that is this Leon's combat knife. It is one of the smallest pickaxes in the game, which I feel like just makes this even better, but it doesn't really feature in the store that often. Let's move on, guys, and next up we have Jules and of course Kong's battle axe. I feel like Jules has just been one of the best skins in the game. It is always going to be really sick, and the only downside for this is that it was part of a battle pass over 3 years ago, so if you weren't playing Fortnite back then, you were probably never going to have the opportunity to get this skin in Fortnite. There are obviously a lot of different variants of this skin that you can actually use. We have seen Fortnite remake so many of these battle pass skins a bunch of times, but I still feel like the original is the best one. Kong's battle axe is really clean. I actually thought this is going to be one of the best pickaxes moving forward, and arguably one of the most try-hard ones as well, but it definitely has dropped off a lot now, and we just don't see that many people using it at the moment. But if you guys are a fan of this, then let me know in the comments down below. We have to move on though to ISO and of course the studded axe. There is something so sick about ISO. I feel like this is one of the most creative skins we have seen in the game as well, but obviously a lot of people do just want to use some of the more simplistic skins, which is the downside for this. If you are a fan of the more brightly colored skins though, then this is definitely for you. I feel like Fortnite could make this a lot better in the future as well, just by adding in some different variants for this, by changing around the colors, or even just having one glowing color on this skin. That would just make it a lot better. Still though, if you guys do own this, you will know how good it is. We have seen a lot of pros and streamers using this a bunch in the past as well, which just makes this even better. Let's move forward guys to a Marvel themed combo, and this is the Winter Soldier, and we are pairing this with the Combat Machete. This was introduced a few weeks ago. Since we did just have the Thunderbolts movie released, I feel like this was perfect to use. I'm so surprised it took this long to actually have a Winter Soldier skin added to Fortnite, but this does not disappoint at all. It does look really clean. I feel like Fortnite could have improved this though by just adding styles for this, but you could change the gradients. So instead of just having the anime or the cell shaded gradients, you could just use the default gradient that Fortnite skins have as well, which would have made this a lot better. In my opinion, that would have been the best way to go. That would have made this skin so much better today as well, and I know that I would have been using it a lot more. For the pickaxe, we are actually going with the Combat Machete. This was added with the latest Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles collab, which was really cool, but again, you can use any of the other smaller pickaxes that you do want to use. I feel like the Combat Machete is just really clean because it is one of the newest in the game. Next up though guys, we have the AWR Trooper, and we are pairing this with Ahsoka's staff. Now this is a full Star Wars combo. The AWR Trooper has been in the game for a little while, and I feel like what is so good about this is that if you are not a fan of Star Wars, you probably still like the way this skin looks. It isn't necessarily a known Star Wars character. I feel like this is definitely one of the more underrated characters in the game, or at least in the movies as well. It was so sick. The design for it is really cool though, and again, it is one of the more simplistic Star Wars skins that we have, which just improves this even more. I also feel like the Ahsoka staff pickaxe fits in with the theme of this skin. Even though it wasn't designed for it, it definitely looks like it was, and the colors are just absolutely perfect. Next up though, we need to talk about an older Battle Pass skin, and this is Core, and we are pairing this with the Star Wand. I love Core so much. I feel like it is going to be one of my all-time favorite Battle Pass skins. This was introduced back during Chapter 2, Season 8. Now, it has been a really long time since we actually had this in the game, but I still feel like this is one of the most famous and best skins they did add during Chapter 2. I feel like the only problem with this though was that we had so many other collab items added to the game during that season, and of course the downside for this was that people just didn't really want to buy all of the Battle Pass items when we had so many amazing collab skins in the game. That was probably the biggest downside for this. They have remade this already a few times, so if you guys are a fan of the design of this skin, there are definitely a bunch of other skins that you could end up using instead. We do also need to talk about one of the newest Battle Pass skins in the game, and this is Damarind, and we are pairing this with the Hot Dogger. Now, you could always pair this with a pickaxe from the Star Wars franchise if you do want to use a complete Battle Pass combo, but for the moment, I just feel like this has to be one of the better looking combos in the game. Damarind, especially in the fighter suit, is going to be my favorite style. I feel like that does just look the cleanest, and moving forward will probably be the best edit style for this skin. But again, if you just want to use the default style, then you can always use that instead. There is something so cool about this skin. I feel like it is going to take a lot of time for people to start using this though, because we just had so many other really cool skins added during this season's Battle Pass, and of course so many cool Star Wars skins added to the game as a whole. But let's move on, guys, and next up we have the White Widow, and we are pairing this with Lucille. Now, the White Widow is a really interesting skin. It was also added with the Winter Soldier skin that we had a few days ago, but the White Widow has definitely been a lot more popular. Since this is a cell shaded skin, we wanted to pair this with a cell shaded pickaxe that would look really cool, and that is why I feel like Lucille was the perfect choice. It does look really cool together. Again, I still feel like this skin would have been a little bit better if they added in an edit style where you can turn the cell shading off and just make it look like a regular Fortnite skin. That way we could have ended up pairing this with something like the Harley Hitter, but still this was really well done. This skin is only going to get better in the future as well, especially if they do introduce a lot more Marvel items to the game. Obviously, during a Star Wars season, we probably won't see too many other collab skins being that popular, but I still like this a lot. We did also have Champion Loser Fruit and of course the Axe of Champions 2.0 added to the game this season. Champion Loser Fruit was added to the game with the Pro-Am, where a lot of Fortnite pros teamed up with Fortnite creators to compete in a big tournament. This was a lot of fun. I feel like this is one of the better events that Fortnite has actually hosted, and so many people seem to love it. And Fortnite actually introduced a bunch of really cool skins to the game, basically to commemorate how cool this FNCS tournament actually was. Easily the coolest part about this was the Loser Fruit skin. I feel like so many people love this. They all thought this is going to be one of the coolest skins moving forward, and Champion Loser Fruit just looks so sick. Since this is a skin celebrating the pros in Fortnite, I feel like it only makes sense we use one of the most tryhard pickaxes in the history of the game, which has to be the Axe of Champions 2.0. It is actually really cool to see that they were giving out the Axe of Champions 1.0, or the original golden one, to the game in the very beginning, but it is going to be interesting to see if that does eventually feature in the store. Next up though, guys, we have to talk about the Mogul Masters and of course the Icebreaker. The Mogul Masters are some of the most iconic skins in the game. They do cost 1,500 V-Bucks each, and there are so many of these with 8 different skins now in the game. Obviously, the downside of this though is that they are 8 different skins as opposed to just one skin. I feel like that is really the disappointing part about it, and if you are spending so much on skins, then you probably want to use a really simplistic pickaxe, which is why I feel like the Icebreaker is a perfect choice. At only 500 V-Bucks, it is one of the cheapest ones in the game, and definitely one of the best ones that is going to match in with pretty much every single variant of the Mogul Masters now in Fortnite. It is still really up to you guys though on which Mogul Master is the best. I mean, I feel like there isn't really one that is better than the others, or one that is more tryhard at the moment, but you guys can let me know in the comments down below. We do also have the Wookie Team Leader, and of course the Gavi Stick, which was introduced this season. The Wookie Team Leader is an interesting remake of the Team Leader skins, but adapted to the Star Wars series. Personally, I feel like it would have been cooler just to have another Wookie skin added to the game. That probably would have been a little bit cooler, and maybe a little bit more tryhard as well, but still having this as one of the earliest skins in the game is just really cool to see. I feel like as well the Gaffy Stick matches in with the color theme of this. You could always use the other pickaxe that was designed for this, but there is just something so cool about this. Really cool about this pickaxe, and I feel like that makes it easily one of the best ones in the game. That takes us further, guys, to the Renegade Raider, and of course the Raider's Revenge. This is one of the most iconic combos we're ever going to see in Fortnite, and perfect for you guys to main today. I mean, everyone loves this combo. It is so iconic, so popular, and so famous. It is hard to find a combo more popular than this. I mean, it was definitely a shock when Fortnite decided to add this back to the shop though, because it was the rarest skin in the history of the game, and then they decided to add this back basically at the start of Chapter 6. So many people ended up buying it. I know that I bought it straight away because of how cool it actually looked, but I just feel like now a lot of people have stopped using it because because they sort of ruined the reason why a lot of people loved it in the first place. Still though, if you guys are a fan of it, it is definitely worth owning. We don't know whether this will eventually feature in the store in the future though, but I still feel like this is definitely worth maining. We do also have Channy and the Harley Quinn Otsushi, which might just be a little bit better. There is something that is really interesting about Channy. It was introduced back during Chapter 2 Season 8 when the first June movie came out. A lot of people were so excited for this, but it sort of quickly became one of the more underrated tryhard skins in the game. But then as we moved throughout Chapter 3 and Chapter 4, a lot of pros and streamers started to realize how good this actually was, and were hoping that when the second June movie was released, we would actually see this added back to the store, but that never ended up happening. It does feature in the store sometimes quite randomly, but I still feel like it would have been better if we saw more styles for the skin introduced, or just more styles from the June franchise introduced as well. The Harley Quinn Otsushi might be an interesting choice for this combo, but I just feel like the colors match up really well, and it does sort of look like something that Channy would actually use. Moving back to a Star Wars combo though, we have to talk about Mace Window and of course the Fiendish Wand. Now it is so disappointing we don't actually have lightsaber pickaxes added to the game. I honestly thought that when we had a Star Wars series coming out, or at least a Star Wars Battle Pass, so many people would want lightsaber pickaxes that Fortnite would basically be forced to introduce that, but that never ended up happening. Still though, I feel like it is going to be best to use something like the Fiendish Wand. It just looks really clean. It looks so sick, and it's definitely a pickaxe that I feel like is quite underrated at the moment. I mean, this was a remake of the Scully Scepter and of course the Star Wand, but it has just died off so much to the point where we hardly see anyone using it anymore right now. Fortnite probably ruined this as well because they just introduced this as a separate pickaxe, but if they introduced this as an edit style for the Star Wand or the Scully Scepter, then so many people would be using it right now. Next up though guys, let's move on to Siren and of course the Leviathan Axe. This has to be one of the most iconic combos in the history of the game. I've always loved Siren, and for 1,200 V-Bucks it is definitely worth buying. A lot of people have pretty much used every single pickaxe with Siren in the history of the game that has been considered tryhard, but there is one that stands out more than everything else, and that is the Leviathan Axe. It is really rare though, only featuring in the store once, but for 1,000 V-Bucks it was definitely worth buying. Next up though guys, we have to talk about the Lady of Cranes and of course the Gold Crow. Now the Lady of Cranes is one of the coolest Fortnite crew skins that we have seen in the game, but a lot of Fortnite crew skins never really stay popular for that long, but I just feel like now that we have all of the edit styles for this skin unlocked, hopefully a lot more people do end up using this. It is one of the coolest crew skins they have designed. I feel like it has fitted in with a lot of the Chapter 6 themes as well, just making this even better, but again, because we get a brand new skin every single month, it basically takes away from the older skins that we do actually have, resulting in them completely dropping off. The Gold Crow matches in with pretty much every single style of this as well, but I feel like there will definitely be some other pickaxes in the game that might fit in with all of the other styles for this skin, not just the default style. And of course you can use something like the Studded Axe or even the LeBeau's Bow, which we are going to be using with our next combo, which of course is Platinum Billie Eilish and LeBeau's Bow. Platinum Billie Eilish is a remake of the Billie Eilish skin that we had. This was remade though when the Fortnite Festival reached 1 year old, and they remade some of the coolest skins in the game, basically introducing a platinum rarity for all of these Fortnite Festival skins. I feel like Platinum Billie Eilish has been the most popular one. It's probably been the best detailed skin that they have done from this as well. It was quite popular and tryhard when it first got added, but I still feel like it is really underrated right now, which is why this is the perfect time for you guys to main it. If you do want to use a skin that everyone else is using, then this probably isn't for you, but there is something so cool about this. I just love the way this skin looks and feel like it could easily be one of the best skins moving forward. They probably won't add this back to the store that often, and we probably won't see Apprentice Eevee and the Fiendish Wand being added back to the store that much in the future either. The reason for that is that this is part of the Battle Pass in Chapter 6 Season 3, or the Star Wars season, which is active right now. This is one of the coolest skins from this season. I feel like they absolutely nailed this, and even though it isn't a Star Wars character, this was a cool mashup with the Star Wars franchise and just the regular Fortnite skins. They did a cool job Obviously, it is going to be interesting to see how popular this stays moving past this season, whether it does stay popular at all, or it is only popular because we are in a Star Wars series, or whether it is only popular because we are in a Star Wars season. But I still really like this a lot, and of course you do have an apprentice or a Jedi style, and then a Sith edit style as well. The Fiendish one does fit in with both of these, and it is quite a simplistic pickaxe to use, which is why I feel like it is the best for this. But we do also need to talk about Joss, and of course the Star Wand. Now Joss is one of my all-time favorite skins. It was introduced last season, and is one of the coolest Battle Pass skins I think they have added. We never really had a skin like this, and this is perfect because we had an edit style where you can turn the gradient on or off. So depending on if you want to use an anime style skin or just a regular Fortnite skin, it is going to be completely up to you because you have the ability to change those around. That isn't something that Fortnite have added with some of the other skins, which is quite disappointing. But of course, we do have the Star Wand as the best pickaxe for this as well, just because of how versatile this is and how many different skins it actually does work in with. Next up though guys, we need to move on to comic book Catwoman and of course Palpatine's cane. Comic book Catwoman has to be the best DC skin they have designed. I really did like Karuta Harley Quinn as well, but comic book Catwoman has definitely been a lot more popular in the pro community. There were so many people waiting for this skin to be added back to the game. I mean, it first featured all the way back during Chapter 2, and then we barely saw this up until Chapter 6, which was so insane. I cannot believe it took this long, especially how tryhard this skin actually was. It seems like Fortnite does always reintroduce the tryhard skins a lot more often to the store, and that was pretty evident because as soon as this featured pack in the store, so many people pretty much bought it on that exact same day. The other best thing about this as well is it matches in perfectly with Palpatine's cane. That just matches in absolutely perfectly, and even though it does work in with pretty much every single skin, I feel like there is something so cool about pairing this with Catwoman that just makes it even better. That takes us forward guys to the number 6 position, and we have Sabrina Carpenter, and we are pairing this with the Sound Scepter. Now this is a music theme combo. This is one of the coolest music or festival skins we have seen for a really long time. We did also get an item shop variant as well, which people absolutely loved, so it is completely up to you guys on which one out of these two you do actually want to use. Some people don't really like these festival skins or really don't spend the money to buy the festival passes, so for that reason I feel like the item shop skin is probably going to be the best one. The Sound Scepter is actually a little bit of an older pickaxe, but that doesn't mean that it is bad at all. It still looks really clean, and this is a golden microphone, so it is going to work in perfectly with this skin, and that just makes it even better. As far as tryhard skins actually go though, this has dropped off a lot, but something like the superhero skins and the Jedi or the Crest have not dropped off at all. I mean, I cannot believe how insane this skin has been, considering it was added during Chapter 2 Season 4. It is still really popular today, one of the most insane skins of all time, and of course the amount of edit styles this has just makes it even better. For 1,800 V-Bucks you get so many different styles, but I still feel like it is quite expensive, and Fortnite could definitely make these a lot better by adding in some other edit styles that just improve this that much more, with some other color variants or even design styles to customize this in new ways. With a skin that is so detailed and can be so complex, you do want to use a really simplistic pickaxe for this, and that is why I feel like the Jedi or the Crest might be quite good, and of course it is really simplistic as well, just making it even better. Honestly though, my favorite skin at the moment is probably going to be Chancellor Palpatine, and we are pairing this with Palpatine's Claw. I mean, these combo just makes sense. They are some of the coolest items in the game together, and of course we don't really see too many people using it because it is the last skin that you can unlock in the battle pass, so it is definitely going to be a little bit of a grind. I'm sure as we do move towards the end of the season though, a lot of people are going to be using this and maining it next season. It just looks so sick. I feel like the red edit style is by far the best one, but there are definitely going to be some other skins that do gain a lot more popularity from the Star Wars franchise, and we will be talking about one of them later on in this video. The other really cool part about this is Palpatine's Claw. This is one of my all-time favorite pickaxes. I cannot believe how cool this actually was, and of course it is going to work in with every single skin in the game, one of the most try-hard items moving forward, and definitely something that we will see a lot of people moving after this season. That takes us forward though guys to the number 3 position, and we have Laracross 2000s and of course Rey's Quarterstaff. This is going to be one of the most try-hard combos that we do see moving forward. I cannot believe how good this item actually was. Obviously Lara Croft was one of the best battle pass skins in the history of the game, and then they remade this again, allowing this to be added back to the item shop. this is something that they don't really add or do too often. Usually when items are added in battle passes, they just keep them as battle pass exclusive items. So for Fortnite to actually add in an item shop variant of this skin was definitely something I was not expecting. We do of course have raised quarterstaff as the pickaxe for this. I feel like that just works in really well and does make it one of the coolest looking pickaxes in the game, which makes this combo so much more tryhard. That takes us further, guys, to the number 2 position, and we're going with Sparks and of course the Axe of Champions 2.0. I really like this combo. I feel like Sparks is one of the coolest skins they have actually added. What is really different about this is that this is actually part of a crew series, and whenever crew series do get added to Fortnite, they never really introduce their own Fortnite skin spin-offs, but that is exactly what has happened here. I feel like they did this in such a cool way. The original Click skin was obviously really cool as well, but to see this get its own style, but where they actually remade Sparkplug into its own Icon series skin, I feel like was just such a cool change and something that no one expected. Axe of Champions 2.0 is one of the best pickaxes for this as well. Just makes this so incredible and will definitely make it one of the more try-hard combos moving forward. But the best combo for you guys to main has to be General Grievous, and we are pairing this with Palpatine's Cane. I just feel like this is one of the most insane combos moving forward. I cannot believe how good this actually is. It is one of my all-time favorite combos already, even though this was just introduced, and I feel like as we do move throughout Chapter 6, this is only going to get better. Hopefully you guys do agree as well. I just feel like this would be the perfect time for Fortnite to introduce lightsaber pickaxes that would make General Grievous so much cooler. But there you guys go, that is my entire video for the 27 most tryhard combos for you guys to main today. Let me know which one is your favorite down below, and I'll see you guys in the next video.